Hello everyone, and now welcome to game number 3 in the series between Happy and Check. We are all tied up at 1 game apiece as we see Happy spawning as the blue Undead on the top left-hand side of the map. Meanwhile, over here on the top right, we have Check spawning as the red Night Elf. Check versus Happy once more. Echo Isle is the map as things do get underway. I'm going to go ahead and speed things up once more. And wow, maybe I should really be drinking tea with lemon, as my throat is starting to get very, very dry with these longer than normal WarCraft 3 games. Let's go ahead and see what's going to be happening here as the Death Knight is going to be making its way out. Meanwhile, it is the Warden coming in from Check. So Check opting to go for the Warden this time around. And very interesting choice, as the Warden will be able to get to level 2 rather quickly here, and perhaps even get to level 3 after clearing down this 5-3-3 creep camp. Meanwhile, Kobold Geomancer gets taken out there. It looks like another Kobold going to get taken out there. And we have one final Kobold off over here, which will get taken out. The Warden going to finish off this Renegade Wizard. Picks up a Talisman of Evasion, essentially as effective as a Ring of Protection plus 3 on average, as the Death Knight now going after this Kobold Geomancer. Quickly taken out there, as the Renegade Wizard is going to be the last unit to be left behind. Skeletal minions joining in on the fight. Death Knight sitting at level 1 right now. I'm actually quite surprised that it isn't closer to level 2. It feels like perhaps something... Oh no, these creeps are now coming in to join in on the fight as well. This is a rather strange situation, as Check is actually going after some of these units. Alright, it looks as though he may actually be able to get one of those unit kills. There's one kill. Is he going to be able to get another kill? That is going to be the big question. There is another kill. 2, 3... And that is so far a good number of kills already for this Warden. The Warden may be able to get a Shadow Strike off as well, and perhaps finish off this low hit point Ghoul. Death Knight going to get off another Death Coil in time though, as the Death Knight at level 2 able to save at least one Ghoul so far. Check is in good position so far in this game. Gonna finish off this Kobold off over here, and now perhaps even do a little bit of damage. There's an Abolish Magic, and another Abolish Magic again. Now the Warden is doing its best to try and take this unit out of position. However, the Death Knight able to get the kill on that Forest Troll Shadow Priest, as the Warden now wandering around back down across over here. Warden, lower odd mana than you would have been many patches ago, or many moons ago, maybe 1 or 2 patches ago, as the Warden still sitting, at a 75 Shadow Strike cost. If you guys don't remember, I believe 2 patches ago, the Warden was actually only 65 mana for a Shadow Strike, mainly because it was considered a physical type of damage, I believe. Anyways, let's go ahead and take a look back down across over here. The Death Knight now looking to pull back here. All right, let's take a look at this. Ancient of War gonna go ahead and tank a lot of damage. Warden looking to perhaps buy a Staff of Teleportation, as it is a very heavy harassment type of hero. Does not have a lot of mana though, since she did do a lot of earlier harassment. Alright, still waiting for that item. No, not buying an item, just walking around for no real reason other than to walk around. Gonna pick up a Circuit of Nobility though, and a Manual of Health. Alright, heading back here, picking up 2 quick items and the Manual of Health. Coming back down on the other side, Death Knight gonna clear off this 5-4-4 creep camp. It will put him just outside, I believe, of level 3, or maybe right on it. Not 100% sure. It should be relatively close. There goes 2 more. Ogre Mauler, Death Knight. It is going to be very close. It needs, what, 91 additional experience? I don't believe a level 5 Ogre Mauler at level 2 gives 91. I think it gives like 83 or 84. Yep, there you go. So, there you go. 10 experience shy, so it gives 81. Anyways, Warden now looking to clear out this creep camp here. Going to pick up a Manual of Health in just a second. There it goes. And finish off this Forest Troll Trapper creep camp. Is it going to pick up any good items from the shop? It did pick up that Potion of Invulnerability, as we now see the Death Knight stealing a bit of experience from his opponent by taking down this 5-3-3 creep camp. Death Knight will get to level 3 here. There it goes. Level 3, level 2 Death Coil picks up the item. It was, I believe, a Gloves of Haste. as the Death Knight now in a race to head back home. Back down across over here, we could see more units hired up from this mercenary camp. Ancients of Lore are being constructed, Tree of Eternity already being upgraded, and we'll see whether or not a second hero is added. Happy, sitting on only 32 over 40 supply. You can see that the Lich is about to make its way out, but surprisingly, Happy is in a good spot because of the amount of experience he has on his Death Knight. Normally, when the Death Knight is behind in experience at this stage, he is actually about even. With the Death Knight ahead on experience, or at least tied on experience with that Warden, things may be, the story may play out a little bit differently, as the Death Knight unable to save that ghoul who was running off to the north. Alright, a Circuit of Nobility once more added. Skeletal minions making their way to the south. Warden is going to spot all of this and head off to the north, not knowing that the Death Knight is off here to the south, clearing this Murloc Nightcrawler creep camp, hoping that a Tome of Experience is dropped. No, it is going to be a Tome of Knowledge, as all of those ghouls are now back up on the high side. All right, there you go. There's a Frost Nova. There is a Shadow Strike, followed by a Fan of Knives, and that is in fact a large bit of damage. So far, this Warden does have a Staff of Teleportation, comes in with another set of Fan of Knives, and will be able to teleport away without much of an issue. Yes, has taken a fair bit of damage, sitting at level 4, about 368 experience shy from level 5, and the Warden also very low on mana. We'll see what comes of that, as the Warden using a Clarity Potion just to try to offset the amount of Moonwell mana. Well, nope, take it back. Gonna use all of that Moonwell mana fairly fast. All right, there you go. Warden actually takes a blow from the Ogre Warrior, a misstep there, causing her to lose a fair bit of mana, as that Clarity Potion was not yet completed. Back down, or back over here at the 3 o'clock position, you see the Death Knight wandering around, hoping to catch some units off guard, as the Lich is now going after this Ogre Warrior, a 3/3/3 creep camp. Ring of Protection +2, Orb of Corruption should be on her momentarily. Death Knight hoping beyond hope to actually find something of use, as the Death Knight just sitting in position here and really hoping that perhaps he can catch the Warden nearby as she is trying to creep. If Czech was paying attention, he would have realized that the Warden, or that this Ancient of War, had a difficult time trying to walk in. Death Knight, Potion of Invisibility still being used here. Death Knight could come around the corner across over here, perhaps get this Gargantuan Sea Turtle. He wants this Gargantuan Sea Turtle to fall. That's actually what he wants, because he wants to be able to Death Coil it. Alright, so far, this Gargantuan Sea Turtle is actually taking a very, very roundabout way. There's the Death Coil, there's the Steel, and are we going to see a Potion of Invulnerability? No, just a Scroll of Town Portal. Picking up the item. It is Boots of Speed. Not the best item for him, but he did at least deny it for his opponent, as we now see him picking up an Orb of Corruption. Death Knight got to level 4, denied experience. The Warden sitting at 4 would be almost at level 5 after this creep camp, and that may have saved Happy now coming back down across over here. Czech wandering forth, does have level 5 already. Looks like perhaps she picked up the Tome of Experience there, and also has a Potion of Invisibility. She's gonna return the favor, so to speak, with an invisible hero now heading off to the north, and hoping to clear out some of these acolytes. One Nerubian Tower, no Spirit Tower, surprisingly, as the Spirit Tower is the higher damage tower that can usually cause a fair bit of problems. Back across over here, is the Warden going to pick up any items? No, it is not. The Warden just heading back off to the north. Death Knight is relatively close by, and here we go. Are we going to see a walk around? Yes, we are going to be able to come right into this position here and perhaps engage and cause some problems. All right, there goes one acolyte, there goes two acolytes, as the Warden unable to get into position here. Now going after some units. There's a Fan of Knives, takes down a third acolyte, again takes down a ghoul, and this is exactly what the Warden wants. Yes, she is taking a fair bit of damage, but she knows that she'll end up being able to recover all of this and more, as another acolyte falls there. All right, Staff of Teleportation in order to get away, but did get about a little bit more than a third of its way to level 6. As you know, you cannot gain experience from creeps after level 5. Hence the importance of the harassment techniques of that warden. Killing acolytes and ghouls is a slow but steady way for that warden to get to level 6 and get that Avatar of Vengeance. Avatar of Vengeance just absolutely shuts down the undead because of all of the corpses that the graveyard naturally generates. Yes, that is a resource unique to the undead, except for the Avatar of Vengeance that changes skeletons or bones on the field into an animated body and to an invincible animated unit. Warden now still wandering around across over here. Is it going to be able to do anything? Is it going to pick up another potion of invisibility? That is the question. There is a circlet of nobility, and it is just going to instead... Oh, yep, did use it as well, and is now running back away. Dark Ranger, Lich. You can see the Warden off over here. Units are training up Ancient Protector, Tree of Life, and a second Ancient Protector. Dryads could easily do a little bit of slow poison here. Warden is in position. Ancient of War is in position. A little bit of damage. Here comes the attack. There's a big fan of knives. Shadow Strike. Death Coil just in time to save. But it's only a level 4 Death Coil, not the full level 5 or level 3, as the Death Knight only at level 4, unable to fully heal back up again. Units are in a bit of a run. Death Knight being forced to use another scroll or another Death Coil. The Death Knight, does it have enough mana for another Death Coil? Yes, it does. So 3 Death Coils later, the Warden has really not done that much damage as another Death Coil comes in. Maximum mana Death Knight really helping out so far. As you can see, wow, a fan of knives finishing off one unit. Warden has no way to finish off that destroyer. No Orb of Venom. And without an Orb of Venom, that would have been a very tragic situation for Happy. Now Happy able to retreat with at least one destroyer and now turn and engage onto a Warden. Turning around a corner, forgot to check the corner and walked straight into a trap, losing about a third of its life. Back down across over here, dual Ancient Protectors. The Tree of Life actually needed to walk a little bit closer in order to start entangling this gold mine. Ancient of War is going to be in position as well, as here we go. Dual Ancient Protectors in position, as the Ancient Protectors are going to force these units to now do a bit of retreating. Warden taking a bit of damage again, heading all the way back. Rejuvenation coming back in once more. Devour Magic quickly used against them as the Destroyer could turn around. There's another Rejuvenation as the Destroyer's Devour Magic currently on cooldown. There's a big roar, and that is a very dangerous item to use, or a dangerous ability to use. As you can see, it's going to feed the mana into the Destroyer. One Druid of the Claw could get taken out here. Staff of Preservation not used in time as the units are still in full retreat. All right, this strange pocket corner actually seems to be favoring Happy. Happy's been able to constantly engage against those units without losing all too much. Death Knight somehow still has enough mana, and it looks like, did I see that correctly? No. It looked like for a second the Death Knight was regenerating hit points and mana. That is possible on a slight delay between the two, as you see the Destroyer now looking to back off. All right, Destroyer now needs to get away, constantly getting attacked in the air. The Death Knight comes in with the Death Coil again. Shadow Strike onto the Crypt Fiend. Crypt Fiend now trying to back away. Frost Nova, Fan of Knives coming through as the Crypt Fiend looks like it will survive once more. That Death Knight probably wishes that was level 5 in order to survive this, as this is just getting backed up into a corner. Death Knight still not quite sure where it could go. Scroll of Town Portal finally being used as Happy, well, enjoying the fact that he can in fact retreat, but he definitely lost that fight. Now sitting at 48 over 50 supply compared to 51 over 60. Check with a larger amount of gold in the bank and also additional income over his opponent. Coming across over here, every single creep camp has been cleared out. Any experience gain now going to be in a straight up fight. There is one Destroyer in the air and one Destroyer only. Back across over here, the Dryads still going to be causing some big issues and problems as the Crypt Fiends are looking to get into position. Crypt Fiends very strong, could get some weapons upgrades to try and poke apart those Dryads, but those Dryads have been diving in so quickly and easily. The Destroyers don't have enough range to really engage against those bears without the dryads being able to constantly poke against them. More ancient protectors now trying to be added here. It looks as though ancient protector number, one ancient protector looks like it's going to get forced out here. We could see a detonation. There you go. One ancient protector going to get taken down, but there are already 3 in play, as a second ancient protector, which was under construction, going to get destroyed. Oh, is this going to turn into your classic night elf game where the undead is trading an expansion for a base? This is not going to be good for Happy. Happy needs to rely on his base defense, but there's really not enough there, as the ancient protectors are all going to be falling. All right, Acolytes now trying to run back. Warden still sitting at level 5, almost level 6. Now ancient protectors are still taking a lot of damage here. There goes another. One more ancient protector is all that is left. And instead of going after it, going after the Tree of Life, 51/60 supply. Scroll of Town Portal now finally being used. The Warden isn't going to be able to escape out of there, going after some of those units. And it looks like one unit will get taken down. Another bear could get taken down. And this could be a big deal, losing 7 supply worth of units, as the Acolytes are now trying to get away. Another Acolyte is going to get taken down right there, as the Warden is going to blink away using Blink, hiding off over here and able to teleport back home. Destroyer getting some additional hit points, should be able to engage right here, take down some of these units. Why isn't it attacking? That's the question. There goes one attack there. There goes another. Druid of the Claw already down to 700 hit points, as it is still in retreat. All right, Warring going to engage. Big fan of knives right in the center. There goes a Crypt Fiend. Not enough heroes. Death Coil going after the Warden. Warden blinks just enough to shake it off, as the Abomination will get taken down. Crypt Fiends continuing to fight here. Constant fighting. Warden now with an anti-magic shell and also a potion of healing trying to engage. It looks like the Devour Magic was able to destroy it, as the Warden going to come inside. Fan of Knives is the Warden. Potion of Invulnerability was very low on hit points. Somehow survives, as the Warden is now trying to catch up to one of these Crypt Fiends. All right, we're going to see a Fan of Knives. There goes another Crypt Fiend, and the Warden now looking to pull back. That 15 seconds is nearly up, as the Destroyers going after the bears. All right, there's another Death Coil trying to slowly but surely wear down that Warden. That doesn't seem to be working, though, as we now see another engagement here. Hippogriff now joining in on the fight. No real easy way of engaging against the Hippogriff, as you see the Destroyer is actually getting pecked apart, now pulling back here. Destroyer is going to get taken down. Rejuvenation back onto the Warden, as we are still fighting this out. All right, no more Destroyers. 2 Obsidian Statues, 3 heroes continuing this push. Are we going to see these units be able to really do anything with all of this here? You can see the units are now backing off. Hippogriff is right there, now backing off again. Dark Ranger could turn back around. Death Knight shows up to the party. Rejuvenation on the Hippogriff, which is the reason why these Destroyers or Obsidian Statues are not Destroyers. A late, or actually just in time, Death Coil comes in once more, as the Death Knight has enough for one more Death Coil, but unfortunately for him, he's the one that needs it. All right, Warden turning things back around again. Dryads looking like, wait, what's all going off to the north here? The Warden gonna blink through, and that is a fast-moving Warden. That Warden so difficult to catch up to. It does have level 3 blink, hence its very, very fast movement speed. Now trying to get a little bit more mana in. There goes one Acolyte. Another Acolyte gonna get taken down. There goes a third, and we could see a blink to a 4th and a 5th. Oh, wow, no. Anti-magic potion, potion of healing coming across. We could see Staff of Teleport, no, Scroll of Town Portal in order to get away. But 4 dead Acolytes in less than 10 seconds, as the Warden heads back home. Clarity potion now being used as well, as everyone is healing back up. Druid of the Claw going to land a rejuvenation onto that Warden, as Czech seems to be dominating at this stage. Warden with the rejuvenation still wandering around back off to the north. Over here on the top left-hand side of the map, Acolytes mining away. 2 more Acolytes need to be added. The additional gold mine from Czech. Czech has the economic advantage, has a very big hero advantage. Another Fan of Knives right there. You see a beautiful, beautiful silence go down, and the Obsidian Statue being nearby enough to cause problems. There's another blink. There's another Fan of Knives, and there it goes again. The Warden just shy now of level 7, and at level 7 we will be seeing the Avatar of Vengeance. That Warden in the blink of an eye, just in and out of bad situations. And yes, out of mana, but it does not matter. Warden looks ready to go back in one more time. Has a potion of mana, has a potion of lesser invulnerability. Most likely just going to go inside there, cast both, and then use the graveyard here against the opponent. All right, a lot of defense here. Ancient of Wonders. You can see all the Dryads are just hanging back around over here. And are we going to see... Oh, no, just a Fan of Knives. There you go. Level 7 now. Going to go ahead and continue to engage. That is a lot of dead Acolytes so far. And there goes the rest of them. Staff of Teleportation going to be heading back home. There you go. Warden most likely going to try and use those Moonwells here in just a moment. Abolish magic being used. There is the Avatar of Vengeance. And there is another Fan of Knives coming in. All right, it looks as though the Warden is going to be able to finish things off. The Abomination going to try and engage, unable to do so. Difficult to keep track of that Warden, as that Warden is throwing Fan of Knives and blinking all across the base. Plenty of mana to still use. Death Coil, as Happy does give the GG, and Check takes game number 3 in the series. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Hope you guys enjoyed this series. Check taking this series 2-1.